In a world teetering on the edge of chaos, Azeroth stands as a realm of unparalleled beauty and untold strife. A land of towering mountains, vast forests, and endless seas, its peace is shattered by the ever-looming specter of war. Here, ancient rivalries between humans, orcs, and the enigmatic night elves fuel a cycle of conflict, but a far greater danger stirs in the shadows. This story begins not with heroes, but with whispers, a prophecy carried by a mysterious prophet, warning of an unstoppable tide of darkness. The burning hunger of the demonic Burning Legion threatens to consume Azeroth, as it has countless other worlds. To survive, sworn enemies must cast aside their hatred and forge uneasy alliances. As we turn the pages of this ancient tome, its words bring to life a saga of betrayal, sacrifice, and resilience. It is a tale of heroes rising from the ashes of despair, of alliances tested in the fires of war, and of a final, desperate stand to preserve all that is good in this world. This is the story of Warcraft, the reign of chaos. Our story begins in the once thriving kingdom of Lordaeron, a bastion of human civilization, now on the brink of a disaster that no one can foresee. As the lands bask in a fleeting peace, a mysterious prophet emerges, a shadowy figure cloaked in secrecy, who carries a warning that will shape the fate of Azeroth. The prophet approaches King Tirina's Menethil, ruler of Lordaeron, with a dire message. A great darkness is coming, a demonic invasion that will engulf the world if immediate action is not taken. But the king, like many others, dismisses the prophet as a madman. This rejection sets the stage for the trials that are about to unfold. At the same time, we meet Prince Arthas Menethil, heir to the throne, a brave and determined young warrior. Arthas's life is dedicated to protecting his people, but his journey is just beginning. Reports of strange events come from the northern lands. Crops withering overnight, animals going mad, and entire villages falling silent. Arthas is sent to investigate, accompanied by his mentor, Uther the Lightbringer, a legendary paladin of the Silver Hand. What they find is chilling. A new plague is spreading across the land, turning those it touches into mindless undead. The cult of the damned, a shadowy group of necromancers, works in secret to spread this pestilence, their motives as dark as the magic they wield. Arthas's resolve hardens. He swears to do whatever it takes to protect his kingdom, unaware of the heavy price this oath will demand. As the darkness begins to encroach upon the light, the stage is set for a tragedy that will shake the very foundation of Azeroth. Arthas, once a shining hope for his people, stands at the edge of a path that could lead to salvation or to doom. And so the wheels of fate begin to turn. The shadow of the Burning Legion grows ever closer, while the true scope of the danger remains hidden from most. Yet, amidst the rising chaos, a hero rises, unaware of the trials and temptations that await. As the shadow of the plague spreads across Lordaeron, Prince Arthas leads his forces deeper into the heart of the devastation. Villages lie in ruin, their inhabitants turned into shambling undead under the thrall of dark necromancy. At every turn, Arthas encounters the agents of the Cult of the Damned, a sinister organization dedicated to serving their master, the Lich King. In his pursuit of answers, Arthas crosses paths with Jaina Proudmoore, a skilled sorceress and his former lover. Together, they uncover horrifying truths about the plague. It is not a mere illness but a weapon, designed to corrupt the living and expand the ranks of the undead scourge. Worse still, the infected grain being distributed across the kingdom is spreading the plague faster than they can contain it. Their investigation leads them to Andoril, a once prosperous city, now reduced to a battlefield. There, they face quel'thalas, a powerful necromancer and a key leader of the Cult of the Damned. Arthas and Jaina confront him in a fierce battle. Despite quel'thalas' mastery of dark magic, he is ultimately defeated, but not before revealing chilling information. The plague is merely the beginning. The true power behind the scourge lies far to the north, in the frozen lands of Northrend. Quel'thalas' death provides little solace. Arthas is consumed by guilt and frustration as he realizes the full extent of the plague's devastation. The prince grows increasingly obsessed with eradicating the threat, no matter the cost. His once noble resolve begins to waver as anger and desperation take hold of his heart. Meanwhile, Jaina senses the change in Arthas. She urges him to seek counsel and act with caution, but her words fall on deaf ears. Arthas is determined to hunt the scourge to its source, convinced that only through decisive action can he save his kingdom. Little does he know, this path will lead him to a crossroads where his greatest strength will become his greatest weakness. The battle for Lordaeron rages on, but the stakes are far greater than the survival of one kingdom. The forces at play are ancient and unfathomable, their schemes threatening to consume all of Azeroth. As Arthas prepares to march north, his journey becomes a race against time, one that will determine not only his fate but the fate of the world itself. Driven by vengeance and a burning desire to end the scourge, Arthas gathers his forces and sets sail for Northrend. The frozen wastelands stretch endlessly before him, a place of cold desolation and hidden dangers. Here, Arthas hopes to strike at the heart of the scourge and uncover the source of its power. But this journey will test not just his strength, but his very soul. Asterisk upon arriving in Northrend, Arthas finds a harsh and unforgiving land. The icy winds howl as his troops establish a foothold. It is here that Arthas meets Myrddin Brondbeard, a dwarven explorer and old friend, who is searching for a legendary artifact, Frostmourne, a blade said to hold immense power. Myrddin warns Arthas of the blade's curse, but Arthas is already consumed by his mission. Any tool, no matter how dangerous, seems justified in his fight against the undead. Asterisk as the campaign unfolds, Arthas's forces suffer mounting losses. The scourge seems endless, their numbers growing with each battle. Supplies dwindle and morale plummets. Then comes the ultimate betrayal, Arthas's own men, sent by King Tyrrhenas, arrive with orders to recall him home. The prince is furious. To leave now would mean abandoning the fight and condemning his people to annihilation. Asterisk. Arthas makes a fateful decision. He burns the ships that brought them to Northrend, stranding his men and ensuring there can be no retreat. This act cements his descent into obsession. What was once a noble crusade becomes a relentless vendetta as Arthas sacrifices everything and everyone for the sake of victory. Finally, Arthas and Muradin locate the resting place of Frostmourne. The blade is entombed in a shrine of ice, guarded by ancient warnings. Muradin pleads with Arthas to abandon this quest, reminding him of the blade's dark curse. But Arthas, blinded by his desperation to defeat the scourge, dismisses all caution. As he claims Frostmourne, a chilling power surges through him, and the price of his choice is revealed. The blade claims Muradin's life, a harbinger of the destruction to come. Asterisk. With Frostmourne in hand, Arthas confronts the scourge once more. The cursed blade grants him unparalleled strength, and the undead fall before him in droves. But the victory is hollow. Unbeknownst to Arthas, Frostmourne begins to consume his soul, twisting his thoughts and binding him to a dark purpose. The Northrend campaign ends in blood and betrayal. Arthas, once a shining beacon of hope, is no longer the man who sailed to these frozen shores. As he returns to Lordaeron, the weight of his choices bears heavily on the world. The prince has become something far darker, and the true battle is only beginning. Arthas returns to Lordaeron a changed man. The once noble prince, hailed as a hero, now carries a dark aura. The people gather to celebrate his victory, but beneath the cheers lies a chilling truth. Arthas is no longer their savior. Frostmourne, the cursed blade, has claimed his soul, and his actions are no longer his own. In the grand throne room, King Tyrrhenas greets his son with open arms, unaware of the darkness that now resides within him. Arthas approaches, his face expressionless, and in a moment that will be etched into history, he strikes down his father with Frostmourne. The blade's cold hunger consumes Tyrrhenas' life force, and the light of Lordaeron's greatest beacon is extinguished. The kingdom falls silent, its future stolen in an instant. With the king's death, chaos spreads across the land. Arthas, now fully under the control of the Lich King, leads the scourge in an unrelenting assault on his former home. Cities burn, villages are overrun, and the dead rise to join his ever-growing army. The people of Lordaeron, once proud and strong, find themselves powerless against the onslaught. Meanwhile, Jaina Proudmoore, shattered by the prince's fall, retreats to Southshore, seeking refuge with what remains of the alliance. Her heart is heavy with guilt and grief as she wrestles with her decision to leave Arthas behind. Despite her sorrow, Jaina knows the fight is far from over. She begins to rally survivors, preparing for the battles yet to come. Arthas's march of destruction leads him to quel'thalas, the homeland of the High Elves. Here he seeks the Sunwell, a font of immense magical power, to further the Lich King's plans. The elves, led by Ranger General Sylvanas Windrunner, mount a fierce resistance. But Arthas, wielding Frostmourne and commanding the Scourge, proves unstoppable. Sylvanas falls in battle, her spirit twisted into a banshee by Arthas's dark magic. The Sunwell is defiled and quel'thalas is left in ruins. The once beautiful elven kingdom lies in ashes, its people scattered. Sylvanas, now bound to the Lich King's will, becomes a symbol of the horrors Arthas has unleashed. Yet even in her torment, a spark of defiance remains, foreshadowing a future rebellion against her master. Arthas's campaign of death continues, as the Scourge spreads like a plague across the eastern kingdoms. What began as a quest to protect his people has become a nightmare of his own making. The light of hope grows dim, and the shadow of the Lich King looms over all. But amidst the darkness, whispers of resistance persist, as Azeroth's heroes prepare for the battles that will determine its fate. Arthas's trail of destruction takes him deeper into the heart of Azeroth, leaving despair in his wake. His next destination is the mighty kingdom of Dalaran, home to some of the most powerful mages in the world. The Lich King has tasked Arthas with acquiring the Book of Medivh, a tome of immense magical knowledge that will enable the Scourge to summon Archimonde, a demon lord of the Burning Legion. The city of Dalaran, a bastion of arcane power, stands defiant against the Scourge's onslaught. The Kirin Tor, led by Archmage Antonidas, marshal their forces, combining ancient spells and magical defenses to repel the undead. But Arthas, wielding Frostmourne and backed by Kel'Thuzad, now a powerful lich, is an unstoppable force. The mage's best efforts falter before the unrelenting tide of the Scourge. Through subterfuge and sheer brute force, Arthas infiltrates the city's defenses. His forces overwhelm Dalaran's outer wards, breaking through layer after layer of magical barriers. As he advances, the once vibrant streets become battlegrounds, littered with the bodies of defenders and the newly risen undead. Dalaran, a symbol of wisdom and strength, begins to crumble under the weight of the Scourge's attack. Arthas reaches the central archives where the Book of Medivh is kept. Archmage Antonidas, refusing to abandon his city, confronts the fallen prince in a desperate attempt to halt his advance. The two clash in a duel of immense power, light against shadow, but Frostmourne's dark strength proves too great. Antonidas falls, his soul consumed by the cursed blade. With the Archmage's death, Dalaran's last line of defense collapses. Kel'Thuzad retrieves the Book of Medivh and begins the ritual to summon Archimonde. The skies darken, and the earth trembles as the Burning Legion's power seeps into Azeroth. Arthas stands at the center of the chaos, his humanity long gone, a loyal servant of the Lich King and harbinger of destruction. As the ritual nears completion, Archimonde emerges, a towering figure of fire and shadow. His arrival marks a new chapter in Azeroth's history, a time of fear and devastation. Arthas, having fulfilled his purpose, steps aside, allowing the demon lord to begin the Burning Legion's campaign of annihilation. The city of Dalaran lies in ruins, its proud spires reduced to rubble. The Scourge's victory is complete, but it comes at a terrible cost. The Burning Legion's presence in Azeroth threatens all life, and the battles ahead will test the courage and resolve of those who dare to oppose them. Yet even in the face of such overwhelming darkness, the seeds of resistance begin to take root. Azeroth's fate hangs by a thread, and its greatest trials are still to come. With the summoning of Archimonde complete, the Burning Legion's invasion of Azeroth begins in earnest. But even as the Demon Lord revels in his newfound dominance, tensions simmer between the Scourge and their Legion masters. The Lich King, bound to serve the Legion but secretly plotting against it, sets his own plans into motion. Arthas remains a pawn in this greater game, unaware of the betrayals looming on the horizon. Meanwhile, across the Great Sea, a new alliance of unlikely heroes is forming. Thrall and his horde, having escaped the Eastern Kingdoms under the Prophet's guidance, arrive on the distant shores of Kalimdor. This untamed land is a place of wonder and danger, home to ancient creatures, mighty tribes, and untapped power. Among these are the night elves, reclusive guardians of the forests who have protected their lands for millennia. But their isolation is shattered as the Horde's arrival brings both hope and conflict. Thrall's focus remains on his people's survival. He seeks to build a new home for the orcs while heeding the mysterious warnings of the Prophet. But the orcs are not alone in their journey. The humans, led by Jaina Proudmoore, have also fled to Kalimdor. Their presence stirs old hostilities, and the fragile peace between the Horde and Alliance is tested at every turn. Yet, as tensions rise, so does the realization that a greater threat looms. The Night Elves, led by the fierce and noble tyrant Whisperwind, initially see both the Horde and Alliance as intruders. Their forests, sacred and ancient, are under siege by outsiders and the spreading corruption of the Burning Legion. Tyrande, alongside her beloved Malfurion Stormrage, confronts the new arrivals with suspicion. But soon, the true enemy reveals itself. The Burning Legion's forces begin to spread across Kalimdor, consuming everything in their path. Demons, infernals, and fell-tainted creatures ravage the land, leaving destruction in their wake. In the face of annihilation, the three factions, Horde, Alliance, and Night Elves, are forced into an uneasy alliance. Old grudges and mistrust simmer beneath the surface, but the leaders understand that survival depends on unity. Under the Prophet's guidance, they prepare to make their final stand against Archimonde and his Burning Legion at the sacred Mount Hyjal. As the forces gather, the Night Elves reveal their greatest secret. The World Tree, Nordrassil, a source of immense power and a symbol of their ancient pact with the dragon aspects. Archimonde, intoxicated by his lust for domination, sets his sights on the tree, intending to drain its power and solidify the Legion's conquest. The final battle begins as the defenders of Azeroth unite to protect Nordrassil and drive back the Legion. The clash at Mount Hyjal is a symphony of chaos and courage. Waves of demons crash against the combined forces of the Horde, Alliance, and Night Elves. Heroes rise and fall, their sacrifices immortalized in the annals of history. As Archimonde reaches the World Tree, the defenders unleash their final gambit. Malfurion, channeling the primal forces of nature, calls upon the spirits of the forest in a devastating ritual. The explosion of power consumes Archimonde, destroying him and scattering the burning legion's forces. Victory comes at a great cost. The World Tree is damaged, and the Night Elves lose their immortality. But Azeroth is saved for now. The bonds forged in the fires of battle will shape the future, though the scars of mistrust remain. The war is over, but the lessons of unity and sacrifice echo across the land. The heroes of Kalimdor have proven that even in the darkest hour, hope can endure. And so the story of Warcraft, Reign of Chaos, draws to a close, but the echoes of its events resound across the history of Azeroth. From the icy wastelands of Northrend to the ancient forests of Kalimdor, the fate of the world was shaped by the choices, sacrifices, and battles of its heroes and villains. The humans of Lordaeron, once proud and unyielding, were brought low by the betrayal of Arthas, a prince consumed by darkness. His journey from noble heir to the harbinger of the Scourge serves as a tragic reminder of the cost of unchecked ambition and despair. The kingdom of Lordaeron lies in ruins, its people scattered, its lands overrun by the undead. The orcs, once enslaved by their bloodlust, found a new purpose under the leadership of Thrall. Their exodus to Kalimdor marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Horde, one that sought redemption and survival. But their struggles are far from over, as the scars of the past still linger, and the road to peace remains treacherous. The Night Elves, guardians of the ancient forests and protectors of the World Tree, paid the ultimate price to save their world. With the destruction of Archimonde, their immortality was lost, and their sacred lands were forever changed. Yet, their resilience and unity in the face of the Burning Legion's invasion stand as a beacon of hope for all. Jaina Proudmoore and her people of the Alliance forged new bonds amidst the chaos. Her wisdom and courage in seeking cooperation over conflict proved pivotal in the fight against the Legion. Though mistrust between the factions remains, her actions laid the foundation for future alliances that might one day bring lasting peace to Azeroth. And what of the Burning Legion? Though Archimonde's defeat marked a decisive victory, the threat of the Legion is far from extinguished. Their dark influence still festers in the shadows, and their agents continue to scheme, waiting for the next opportunity to strike. As the dust settles, Azeroth stands on the precipice of a new era. The world has been scarred by war, its people divided yet bound by a shared struggle against annihilation. The battles fought during the Reign of Chaos were but the beginning of a much larger saga, a saga of heroes and villains, of sacrifice and survival, of hope and despair. For those who lived through it, the Reign of Chaos will never be forgotten. Its lessons are etched into the very fabric of Azeroth's history. And for those who listen to its tale, it serves as a reminder. Even in the darkest of times, courage and unity can light the way forward. But as the story ends, one question remains. What new challenges await in the ever-turning tide of Azeroth's fate?